They said she left Dubai on her own, packed her bags, boarded a plane, and never looked back. That was the official story. Polished, rehearsed, airtight. But those who knew her felt the truth the way you feel a shift in the air before a storm. Silent, heavy, impossible to ignore. Her name was Hannah, 26, from Rabat. Soft-spoken, graceful, the kind of beauty that didn't need attention to be noticed. She came to Dubai to work in event design, but everyone who met her said the same thing. She was meant for something bigger, though no one could agree on what. He was Sheikh Idris Al Maktoum, the youngest son of a powerful family with old money and older secrets. A man groomed to be untouchable. A man who hid his loneliness behind gold watches and public smiles. A man whose promises were worth fortunes. Until they weren't. They met at a gala in downtown Dubai. Hannah was working, arranging floral installations near the entrance. Her hair pinned back, her hands dusted with white petals. He noticed her immediately. Not because she tried to stand out. She didn't, but because she didn't notice him at all. To a man who spent his whole life being watched, her indifference felt like a challenge. He approached her after the event, when the guests had thinned and the chandeliers dimmed. She bowed slightly, unsure if she should be speaking to someone like him. He asked who she worked for. She told him. He asked why she wasn't married. She raised her head, startled. He smiled. She didn't. He liked that. For weeks, he sent flowers to her company, not roses. Orchids, lilies, wisteria, flowers that whispered instead of shouted. He wrote small notes, always signed with only his first name. She ignored most of them. It wasn't romance that won her over. It was the night he found her crying alone behind an exhibition hall, after her manager shouted at her for something she didn't do. He didn't offer to fix it. He didn't offer money. He just sat on the floor beside her, in a white kandora, worth more than her month's salary, and said, "Tell me what hurt you." She did. That night, they talked for hours about everything except who he was and what he could give her. She saw a human being. He saw the one person who looked at him without calculating what his name could buy. Their relationship began quietly. Coffee after her shifts, late-night drives along Jumeirah Beach Road, phone calls that lasted until dawn. She told him she wanted a simple life, a home, a garden, a partner who chose her even when she was not perfect. He told her he wanted a life where he could finally breathe. They both believed the other could give them what they craved. But love, in Dubai's highest circles, is not chosen. It is negotiated. It is observed. It is approved only when it benefits the family name. Months passed. They grew closer. Too close for a world built on surveillance and expectation. His brothers noticed first. How often he slipped away. How distracted he became during formal dinners. Then his mother. She watched him with sharp, quiet eyes, the way a hawk watches a mouse that doesn't know it is being hunted. One night, she summoned him to her private majlis. No staff, no tea, just truth. "You're losing yourself," she said. He replied, "For the first time, I have found myself." She said nothing. She didn't need to. Within a week, Hannah received a message. Not from him, but from his assistant. A request to meet at a private resort in Jumeirah. She went, hopeful, expecting Idris. Instead, she found two women waiting, his mother and his aunt. They welcomed her politely. Too politely. His mother told her she was beautiful, graceful, intelligent. Then she told her these qualities were not enough. not for their family, not for their future, not for the lineage Idris was meant to carry. Finally, she said, "You must leave, not because we dislike you, because we cannot afford you." Hannah felt something inside her collapse. She asked, "Does he know you're here?" His mother answered, "He will soon." His aunt slid an envelope across the table. Inside, money, a plane ticket, and a non-disclosure agreement. Hannah stood trembling. She said, "If he loved me, he would choose me." His mother smiled sadly. "My dear, men like my son don't choose. They are chosen." Hannah left the resort without taking the envelope. She walked barefoot along the beach, letting the waves erase the footsteps she couldn't erase from her heart. She didn't tell Idris what happened. She waited for him to tell her. He didn't. He distanced himself. Out of fear, out of duty, out of weakness disguised as caution. She stopped calling. He didn't chase. The silence between them thickened until it felt like another person. Heavy, watching, waiting. Then everything changed. One night, Hannah fainted at work. Her colleague rushed her to a clinic. The doctor ran a test. She was pregnant. She stared at the result until the ink blurred. She didn't think of Idris first. She thought of the child, of the life inside her that did not belong to any royal lineage, any tradition, any rule book. She spent the next week in a dreamlike haze, numb, terrified, strangely hopeful. When she finally called Idris, he came within 20 minutes. The moment he saw her face, he knew. She whispered, "I can't hide this." He sank into a chair, burying his face in his hands. He held her. He cried. He promised her everything: a home, protection, a future. He said he would speak to his mother. He said he would fix it. He said, "Trust me. We'll raise our child together." For the first time in months, she believed him. She didn't know that his mother listened to every call he made. She didn't know that his aunt monitored every step he took. She didn't know that love, in that world, was a luxury few could afford. The next morning, Idris tried to meet with his mother. She refused him. His brothers intervened. They said the same thing she had heard at the resort. "You cannot break the family for this girl. You cannot drag us into chaos." They threatened to strip him of his position, freeze his accounts, expose every weakness he had ever confessed. He fought them. He shouted. He broke a vase. He said he would choose her anyway. They said, "If you choose her, we will destroy her." He stopped fighting. Hannah waited for him that night. He didn't come. She called. He didn't answer. She texted. No reply. Instead, 2 black cars pulled up outside her building just after midnight. 3 women entered. His mother, her sister, and a family advisor. No men, no guards, no outward threat. It was the quietness that frightened her. His mother spoke first. "You cannot have this child." Her voice was flat, cold, rehearsed. Hannah said, "I won't get rid of it." His aunt said, "Then you will ruin him." The advisor added, "And you will ruin yourself." Hannah clutched her stomach, trembling. She whispered, "He promised." His mother cut her off. "He promised you forever. He just didn't know how short forever is." They presented her with choices: money, an apartment abroad, a new identity, a quiet exit, a life where no one would ever know. She refused them all, so they created a different choice. 2 days later, Hannah vanished from her building. Her landlord assumed she moved out. Her employer believed she quit. Her colleagues thought she returned home. Her neighbors remembered hearing footsteps on the stairs that night. Soft, hurried, followed by silence. No report was filed, no inquiry opened, no statement given. Her name simply dissolved from the corners of the city that once held her. Idris noticed immediately. He called her repeatedly. Every call went to voicemail. He drove to her apartment. The landlord told him she had left the country. He knew it was a lie. He confronted his mother. She stared at him with a calmness that felt like cruelty. She said, "Some truths are too dangerous to exist. Some lives too." He asked what they had done. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. For weeks, he spiraled. Stopped attending meetings, stopped eating, stopped pretending to be the man everyone expected. He searched for her privately, quietly, obsessively. He found nothing. Until one night, a small parcel was slipped under his door. No name, no return address, just a thin envelope sealed in wax. Inside was a sonogram, hers, dated 3 days before she vanished, and on the back, in her handwriting, "Even if you forget me, don't forget us." He collapsed. The guards found him hours later, shaking. He withdrew from public life entirely, refused interviews, refused outings, refused to speak to his mother. Reports said he was ill. Others said he was lost. Both were true. Years passed. Dubai changed. Buildings rose. Stories faded. But in certain circles, cafes near JBR, art studios in alcoves, gatherings whispered behind closed doors, the tale of Hana remained. Some said she fled to Morocco. Others claimed she was living in Europe under another name. A few believed she was still in Dubai, hidden away where no eyes could find her. But the most persistent rumor came from a night guard who worked at a private estate owned by the family. He said that sometimes in the early hours before dawn, he saw Idris walking alone in the gardens, holding a small sonogram photo against his chest, whispering her name like a prayer he hoped the wind would carry back to her. And some nights, when the desert was quiet, the guard swore he heard a woman's voice answering him. Soft, sorrowful, fading. Because promises, when broken, do not disappear. They bury themselves beneath the skin, beneath the sand, beneath the silence. And in a city that forgets everything except what it is told to forget, there are still shadows that carry her name. Hana, the woman he promised forever, the secret they buried instead.